Hello everyone and welcome to the Rift. Today we have a bunch of new cards. That's right, it's reveal season and we are getting a ton of new cards to look at and to play with. There's a lot to talk about today, so let's just jump right into it. But first, if you want to stay up to date with card reveals, then you'd better make sure to subscribe. And if you're enjoying the content, then make sure to like this video. And if you want to start playing Riftbound right now, then you can, using the resources provided in the video description. Alright, another day, more card reveals. Today we've got some crazy cards. The first one up is Immortal Phoenix, which I think is one of the best cards we've had revealed so far. It is a red unit with 3 might and assault 2, so it's got 5 might when it attacks, and it costs 3 energy and a power to play. But wait, it actually doesn't cost that much because you can play it from your trash for 1 energy and a power. That's right. Anytime you kill a unit with a spell, you may pay 1 energy and a red power to play me from your trash. Incredible. This card is very good. It's an insane unit in Jinx and in Kaisa, and is exactly the kind of unit that Kaisa needed to even start becoming a playable deck at this point. Kaisa really needs a lot of help, and this is exactly the type of card that you want to put in that deck, because Kaisa runs a ton of spells that kill units. Kaisa also wants discard fodder for Get Excited, and if you discard this card with Get Excited and then Get Excited kills a unit, this card can be played immediately. Even in Jinx, this card is crazy because you have Death Rocket, which you can just loop over and over again and bring Phoenix back a ton of times. That's insane. Yeah, this card is just amazing. You might even play it in some other red decks. We'll have to see. I don't really think it's as good in other stuff, but Jinx and Kaisa definitely get a ton of use out of this card. It's crazy in those decks. Speaking of Kaisa, the next card we have is Void Seeker, which is going to help Kaisa out a lot as well. It's a red action spell for 3 energy and a red power that deals 4 to your unit at a battlefield, and then you also draw a card. That's very good. For Kaisa, that is just a strict upgrade to Disintegrate in every single way. It costs less, it deals more damage, and it always draws a card. This is exactly the type of card that Kaisa wants in her deck, and exactly the type of support cards that we want to see more of for Kaisa. This plus Immortal Phoenix actually make Kaisa have sort of a coherent game plan and strategy now, instead of just playing Promising Future and hoping you don't lose the game because your opponent got a big unit. This card brings Kaisa a lot closer to actually becoming a control deck, and a viable control deck, something that we're missing in the format right now. The format is very aggro and mid-range heavy, and there really isn't a viable control deck right now. This plus Phoenix make this deck play almost exactly like Izzet Phoenix wants to play in Magic. Immortal Phoenix is even essentially a very similar card to Arclight Phoenix, so if you've ever played that deck and you like playing that deck, Kaisa is basically the same deck. I think control players are gonna love playing her, and I'm definitely looking forward to her getting a lot more cards in the future because she still needs help as is. She's a lot better, but she's not there yet. I also just think this card is pretty good generically. 4 damage is a pretty good sweet spot in the meta right now to be able to hit, so I think this card could be played generically as well. We'll just have to see how the meta shapes up. Sky Splitter. This is more a Volibear card. It's a red action spell that costs 8 and a power, but wait, it actually doesn't cost 8 because this spell's energy cost is reduced by the highest might among units you control, which means that you can just play a unit with 8 might and then play this card for 0 energy, which is very good. The problem with this card is that it deals 5 to a unit at a battlefield, which Volibear has 0 trouble doing right now. Like half of the cards in Volibear do this. All of your units have 5 might, and most of them have accelerate or ways of readying themselves immediately so they can attack. So while I think this is a good card, I don't really find myself actually playing it in Volibear that much, just because of deck space. I'd maybe side this against like a more aggressive aggressive go wide deck, but in the main deck, I don't really think you need this right now. Volibear really wants to play 5 might units, and all of the good 5 might units have accelerate, so they're essentially like removal spells that can deal 5 damage, and I really don't think you need more of that effect in Volibear right now. He needs some other cards. It is a really good card though, so it'll probably see play at some point, but maybe not right now. Adaptron, okay, this card is very interesting. It's a green unit with 3 might that costs 4 energy. When I conquer, you may kill a gear. If you do, buff me. The buff isn't exactly that relevant, but killing a gear definitely is. This is the first time we've ever seen that effect on a card, and it's definitely nice to have. If there's ever a deck that heavily relies on gear in the meta, you're gonna have to put this card in your sideboard, and it's definitely great to have this kind of card. So it really just depends on what the meta looks like. If there's a ton of gear in the meta and it's important to kill it, then you play this card, but if there isn't, then you don't. Speaking of another answer to gear, we have a purple action spell that costs 1 energy that says each player kills one of their gear. And yes, you can just play this when only your opponent has a gear on the field and you don't. So it kind of just says 1 energy, kill a gear, which is extremely strong. Again, it depends on if gear is actually being played and is important in the meta, but if it ever is, this card is very good. Alright, the next card is Gemcraft Seer. I think this card is also pretty good. It's a blue unit with 3 might that costs 3 and a blue power, and it has vision. This is the first time we've seen this keyword. It's essentially just scry from Magic. When you play this card, you look at the top card of your deck and you can put it back on the top or on the bottom. But wait, there's more, because this card also says other friendly units have vision as well. And you might be thinking to yourself, wait, doesn't Victor make a ton of tokens? Can they proc this effect too? And the answer to that is yes. Yes, they can. This card is definitely pretty good in Victor. I think it will see a lot of play. You can potentially get a ton of pseudo draw power just digging through your deck looking for cards that you need. Whatever card you need, given the matchup or situation that you're in, it helps you dig for any card in your deck. Side deck cards, yeah, this card's just pretty good. I do think it loses a lot of value outside of Victor, and also in Victor, it is a bit awkward right now to try and play blue runes. Until this card came out, you would just play yellow and that's it, so you would just have 12 yellow runes in your deck. Since this is blue, you have to change that now, which makes things a little awkward, but if we get more good blue cards, then we'll have to do that anyway, so I really don't think that's that much of a problem. I'm currently playing 2 of this in Victor with 4 blue runes. I think that's a fine ratio. If we're ever in a meta where you really have to dig for side deck cards, then this card is excellent, but it's just a solid card anyway. It can potentially get you a bunch of value over the course of the game, so it's a very good card, I'd say. Anivia, okay. This card, I think, is the only one we saw today that is not that good. It's an orange champion with 8 might that costs 7 energy and 2 power, and when it attacks, it deals 3 to all enemies here. So why do I think this card is not that good? Well, it's extremely telegraphed, and also doesn't get any value immediately when you play it. If you just play this card down and pass your turn, your opponent is just gonna play around it and not play into its effect. You really need to pair this with something else that can ready it immediately so it can attack right away when it comes down. So by itself, I think it's a pretty mediocre card, and I'd rather just play something like Deadbloom that just gets value immediately and comes down out of nowhere. This card could see some play against very aggressive go wide decks, but I'm really not liking this card that much so far. I don't think it's that strong. I would rather just play Deadbloom, I think. That card's just gonna be better in most scenarios and can do its thing immediately without help. Alright, that's all we have for today. I'll be posting a ton more videos on card reveals in the future, as well as live streaming gameplay and my live reactions to new cards, all throughout the course of reveal season. So if you want to keep up to date with new card reveals, then you'd better hit that subscribe button. And of course, if you want to start playing Riftbound, you can do so right now with the links in the video description. Alright, that's about all I wanted to say today. Take care.